Hey YouTube, Kevin Cleary here with my most carried for August 2016. If you're new to the channel, I know there are a few new people. The way this works is a few years ago now, actually, I decided I would do like sort of my top 10 favorite knives or something. And as I was trying to kind of come up with that list, I realized I don't really have any solid favorites that are consistently favorites. I just sort of have a rotation where there's about, 8 to 12 knives or so that I'll kind of favor for a month to a month and a half, and then after that time I'll sort of switch out and be carrying some other stuff for a while, and then switch out and be carrying some other stuff for a while. And so instead of a top 10 knives, I thought, hey, let's just do the knives that I've been carrying most the last 5 weeks or so. And it's a lot of fun for everybody. It gives me a chance to kind of rehash a bunch of knives. A lot of these knives I probably reviewed a long time ago. Others I'm going to review, but the other thing it is fun for the viewers is that you get to see a bunch of great knives all in one spot, have sort of a little sneak peek of each one, and maybe that gets you thinking about your own collection or stuff that you've missed from the past or whatever. So let's go ahead and get started with what has been in my pocket the most for the last month and a half. Let's start out with the stuff that I've been carrying for review, and I've got a few of these. Starting with the Spyderco K2. This thing is quite a knife. Really cool looking blade. It's a little impractical, but it's so thin that even though it's quite large, you can easily EDC this. Yeah, you may want to think about where you take it out and use it, although I've not had any problems. In fact, that's never been a thing for me. So anyway, Spyderco K2, great knife. Look forward to the review on this coming up, and I'd like to do some comparisons with maybe the military and some other knives. So Spyderco K2, you'll see a review coming up, and that's been in my pocket for that purpose. Another knife that's kind of along those lines or same purpose is the Lion Steel Kerr. Now this is a knife that I absolutely adore. This thing is awesome. I love the blade shape. I love the ergonomics. It was funny because someone commented someone commented that theirs, they just couldn't get into it, and I totally understand that. The flipper mechanism was the thing that kind of put them off, because it is kind of an odd shape and it's a little bit small, and you can flip off of it. Your finger can slide off because the detent's pretty stiff. But now that I'm kind of used to carrying it and using it, I think this is phenomenal. One of the best offerings I've owned from Lion Steel, and I haven't owned everything they've ever done, but I would definitely put this on the short list of maybe their very best offering. Great knife. You guys recently saw the first impressions video on this knife. This is the K-Bar Jaros. Again, a tough little EDC knife, pretty budget friendly. I gotta say, I do like this one. The ergos are really good. And so, yeah, you can, again, expect a review coming up on this. But I've been carrying this quite a bit. It's just a really functional little tool. Now, let me give you a knife that is a bit different. This knife, of course, is the CRKT Homefront, and it has that takedown technology. Yeah, I know that's a novelty, but that was part of the reason that I wanted to try this out. I was really curious to see how CRKT would pull this off. What I'm really kind of looking forward to is the potential for some different blades. You could use this technology to have one handle and 3, 4, you could do a tanto blade shape and a drop point and a spear point, and who knows what else. Warncliffe might not work unless you specifically designed the handle for it, but it'll be cool to see what CRKT does with this technology, and they've already talked about having a knife where you could switch out different blade shapes there. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, let's keep going. Those are mostly the knives that I've been carrying for review purposes. The rest of these knives I've just been carrying because they're awesome and I love them. Let's start with the Kaiser Roach. This is, again, a Matt Dagnan design. You know that if you've seen the review of this, but this is such a cool looking knife. And this is a knife that, honestly, I'll get comments about when I'm carrying it or when I take it out to use. Some people will be like, that is such a cool looking knife. Where did you get that? Or what's the story on it? And then they'll always want to get it in their hand, because you can see by the look of this handle that it just looks like it was made to be in a human hand, and it really is. It's a great design. Totally love this thing. Really, really, you know, definitely my favorite thing from Kaiser up to this point. Now they've got some new stuff coming out that I want to try, but Kaiser Roach, great knife. All right. Here's one, guys, that actually hasn't been in a most carried for a little while, I don't think. This is a Para 2, of course, and this is the S35 VN Para 2. Great knife, and I've had a number of Para 2s, and this one is the smoothest. It's rock solid in terms of lockup, but then it's also a free dropper. Totally fabulous knife, just awesome. Let's hit up one that's a little bit higher end. This is the Riat Knives Valkyrie. This is a knife that, if you watched the review of this knife, I picked it up as in a trade, and you know, I kind of wasn't sure about it. I thought, well, you know, I know the value is definitely there, so at the worst case scenario, I can sell it, and I definitely won't lose money on the trade, which is nice. But once I got this thing and started carrying it, once I flipped it the first time and got it in hand, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And so this one gets a lot of pocket time. Very well done. And if you get a chance to get your hands on one of these, they can be a little tough to get a hold of, but wow, they are extremely well done. Thinking of flippers, let's pull out another carbon fiber flipper. This is, of course, the ZT804, new for this year. This is definitely my favorite ZT for the year. I haven't tried them all. I really, I thought about picking up a 909, I think is the right, essentially the replacement for the 0200, which, by the way, I do have here. I've carried this a few times the last little while. It's just a great knife. This is a classic, and it's one that I absolutely love and kind of wish it wasn't discontinued, but great knife. So there is a 909, which is kind of the replacement for this. Similar construction, you know, G10 liner lock flipper. And I haven't tried one out, but maybe I will. And if you've got one you want to send me for review, that would be great too. But this knife, I'm going to call this my favorite ZT of 2016. Here's one of the cool things about this. I love this design. This would be a great knife for ZT to offer in other variations, you know, with a satin blade, or different handle materials, or you know, maybe a decorative clip of some kind, or you know, there's a lot I think you could do with this knife, and I hope that ZT does that. You know, they're putting out a couple of M390 models right now and some of their other stuff, and that would be really cool to see. Let's get out some cold steels. The Cold Steel Code 4. This is one of the knives that, you know, if someone you know, contacts me and says, hey, I'm just looking for a good recommendation, this is a very highly recommended knife, because this just does everything pretty well. You know, it's great for EDC because it's thin and reasonably light, but it can be flexed into nearly any application that you could think of for a folding knife. So I just love the Code 4. You know, I'm thinking I may mod this one to make it give it a little more traction. But even without, you know, this is just a knife that is phenomenal. You know, great design, super thin, super tough, everything you really want in a good folding knife. This definitely delivers. Along those lines, let's pick up a Rat 1. Now these Rat 1s in D2 steel, I didn't go on KnifeWorks before this video. If someone knows, could you comment below, are these still available? If they are and you don't have one, do not hesitate. These things are absolutely phenomenal. Great price, great steel, and of course, you know, the Rat Model 1 is a classic design for a reason. They're really good, and of course in the upgraded D2 steel, it's just a total win all the way around. Finally, last but not least, is another cold steel. This is the very blue Cold Steel Talwar. Absolutely awesome knife, another great design. And again, this one was one that I was really surprised by a number of things. If you watch the full review, you'll know the size and weight, the blade shape and its usefulness. All of those things kind of really were surprising to me. And so I've got to say, this knife, I'm going to do a full comparison between this and the Recon One, and hopefully I'll be able to kind of rehash some of the details and point out why I think this is actually a good option if you're looking for an EDC knife. That of course, if you're looking at these kind of knives, you're probably thinking, there's a defensive option there as well. And I think this is a great competitor even to the Recon One. Awesome blade. So there you go, guys. That's what's been in my pocket the most over the last month or so. I'd love to hear what you guys have been carrying, and even if you carry one knife all the time, that's great. Just let me know what that one is and what especially I'm asking those people who have a collection. I always think it's neat if you have 20 knives but you only carry like 2 or 3, that probably says something about the quality of those knives, right? So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will talk to you soon.